seeing a thing or two about Neopets coming back big. Well, as somebody who's played for 19 years and collected for 19 years, I am really excited about this and I'm glad to have everybody join us. As such, I decided it is time to redo my Neopets display because I don't really like it very much. And I want to do it before Neopets' birthday, which is in a few days. So let's get going.
First step, of course, we take down the old display. The reason I don't really like this is because it's cubed and it honestly blocks the faces of some of my Neopets and I just can't handle it anymore. Wow! Step 2, we go on Facebook Marketplace, we find an almost perfect cabinet for $35. I say almost perfect because that brown is ew, gross, ugly. So we sand it down and we do 2 layers of spray paint. Listen to that sound effect. Good. Perfect. Love it. The 2 coats ended up taking 2 days because I'm really making sure that no white paint is getting on my Neopets and no brown's showing through. Okay, but now it looks yay wow pretty, so we're off to a good start. We got it upstairs, we got all the shelves and the mirrors together, got the mirrors in the back, got the shelves in. I speed run this process to catch us up some time. And then we're gonna head to the dollar store to get some supplies. Discount risers bought, back to work.
I have added my McDonald's Neopets down the side, this version, the keychain ones. And I did have this kind of put together before, but basically what it is they're attached by the clips. And then I took jumbo paper clips and I kind of built a gap so that they'd all hang nicely together in a line. And this side I also have the same, and to make it kind of even, I have added the extra pet clips at the bottom.
I next installed some lights, and then I worked on my jumbo key quest along the top, along with my inbox fairy Karuga.
Here are our bottom 2 shelves. This has kind of all older Neopets in it. I wanted to keep them together, and I have, as you can see, way more key quest, so that's how they ended up like this, and I absolutely love it. I also added my little electronic pet, and I used this puzzle as a riser because I kind of liked how that worked out.
I then realized it was time to install the doors. Not only were they kind of dirty and needed a good scrub, but if I was building stuff and it ran into the doors, I want to know sooner rather than later. Following that, I thought it would be a good time to make the risers I had planned. That actually involves glass cutting, which I've never done, so safety first. I started to figure it out, followed the instructions, and
2 hours later.
So while I did finally get through the mirror, it looks like my measurements were a tiny bit off because you can see how it hits the mirror, so I can't cut off anymore. And we are ever so slightly close to the middle of this line, which is where the doors hit. So I'm about to see if we can even use these at all. It did turn out exactly how I wanted it. The back is a little bit ugly, but nobody would see that. Now, when I put the doors down here, there is a little gappy gap. So I am just gonna wing it, put the doors on, and see if it fits. And if it doesn't, we just do something else.
the top doors kind of being jerks, not gonna lie. These ones really fought going back into their hinges, and I really thought I was going to break the glass doors, which was a problem I did not need, but we got there.
Fun update. If I don't close them, which I don't really need to do, I just, they don't need to be locked in place, I can put a skinny magnet here, and it'll keep them closed, but I can still have my mirrorizer. I went to go and put one of the key quests there, and I just, that is way too much wasted space. If we put more on there, that's gonna be our gap, but we're gonna try something. Because if these... Okay, why spend a ton of money on a fix when I can use what I have? Okay, that's pretty sturdy. I'm gonna do the rest. Okay. I will get the fingerprints off, I swear. Yes! Obviously, because tails. Ah! What if we... Cows. No. Those! Kacheeks! Kacheeks! Make cheeks. You can see now how much better the space is used. And that's awesome because I have a lot of Neopets to get in there. To me, it looks like the shelf is floating. So I have enough mirror to do the other two, but I'm going to need more of those plastic cups because I didn't get enough. Always get too much. Always get too much. Like they're $1.25. What am I, being frugal? Good Lord. Ah! I love them!
Danny, why do you have so many chairs in your house? Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Who's not gonna break their back? Pick up Neopets to put in the display.
One thing I think is cool is looking at the sizes of everything. So for one, the Rainbow Chombi is long. So it's got some limitations, but it's also a little bit handy because you could stack another layer on top of it because of the size of its back. So I am going to keep this Key Quest section by species because that will make it way easier. Then I can just find, oh, like Quiggles. They're like the same width as the Kachiks. So now we know that on this shelf we'll put the Quiggles where the Kachiks are. And then I kind of have a template and everything will look so even, but also everything will fit so well and we'll figure it out way faster. By the way, if you're wondering where I learned this, it is trial and error, and I've just set up so many shelves that this is what I've figured out. There's a reason I made a collector's course, okay? These are some of the things I teach in that course. It's literally just from hours and hours of messing a display up and having to correct it.
Look, I have proof. Here's me trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. Yay! Entertainment. I'm totally fine and don't have a time crunch at all.
This front one is probably going to be like loaded up and hopefully... Never mind. I think they're all going to be loaded up. I don't think I have a choice here. But I am kind of stuck for today. I need more of those cups. I will probably just cut the other two pieces of mirror and leave it for now.
I must say I did much better cutting the second and third piece of mirror, but I was definitely given a sign I was done for the day.
Okay, here we are at the next day. I'm about to run out and get the rest of the cups. I'm also gonna look for some kind of like slightly smaller cups just to play with levels in there. But we're coming along good. Let's get this done.
Back in our trusty dollar store, here are the cups here. We found too small, too big, and just right.
Okay, what we ended up with. I got some ideas. First of all, I got so many of these because it's not like they'll go to waste. I at least needed 6 to get the rest of the stands up, so just a billion of these. But I also got extra because I found these clear kind of chopping things, and I have cut these before and used them for things. So my thought is up top, I'm going to put the McDonald's Neopets. I previously had them like that, but I kind of had ugly stands that didn't really stand up that well. So my idea is I take extra cups and I cut this to the perfect size and use these to stand them up because we don't need something insanely sturdy because McDonald's Neopets, like these little guys, like they're so light. So I can build them out of that and I can make them risers by using these. And these are little shot glasses, but they are like exactly half the size of one of those cups, which means I can do a little layered kind of situation. So that took forever. I gotta get to taping. I gotta get to set this up because I want this done for Neopets anniversary. So let's go.
A rundown on how this worked. So I took a measurement of the cubbies up top, halved the depth, and then made sure I had the full length, and then I just laid that down onto the cutting mats, traced it out, cut them, and then I could just place the little cutting mats on top of the little cups, making risers that perfectly fit.
Moment of truth. Jeez, creepers, phone calls.
Here's a close-up of those risers. You can see the McDonald's Neopets are fitting perfectly. I then took the 2 new mirror risers and added them with their rised-up platforms. This meant that I could finally move on to the Key Quest plush, and I really started to see what kind of shapes we had and how much we had to pack it together.
Okay, we have 71 Key Quest plush and 3 shelves. So I've got to get 23.6 Key Quest plush on each shelf. And I think I have 16 here. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit more picky.
Hey, you remember that trial and error thing? Yeah, well, it's back in full force. I did my best to work everything around and see how much space I could give, and it did start to work with a little caveat.
A fun update. I had to take a mirror out because I have so many Neopets. I might have to take the mirror out of each one because definitely the one without the mirror, I can still see everybody's face, which is really all I want. I want to be able to see everybody, and you very easily can just looking at it, and I can get way more onto a shelf. So we're just redoing everything. It's fine.
Calm myself down by replacing the light bulbs with hue lights, both in the cabinets and in the spotlights.
Okay, we did some rearranging up here. I have squished everybody in. They got nice and cozy so that I could put the electronic pets up here as well. It's not perfect. We had to put that gallery up there, but I think it's pretty good considering how much is in such a small space.
I used the trusty tape loop method to attach both my car kite and some of my video games to the walls above the spotlights, and then I added a bunch of my smaller like action figures and some books into the level with the older Neopets plush.
Now I'm pretty sure I'm done, but I kind of just like look over everything again already. I figured out if I do this little deal, I can get the Gellert from up there, which means I now probably want to change up there. So it's just like a kind of stand back and make some decisions. I really like how those turned out. These are my stragglers. The t-shirts, it's okay. I like wear those, so it's all right that they're not in the display, but I am liking how this is looking. I think I'm gonna fiddle up there a little bit.
Well, left that down to the wire. Happy birthday, Neopets. But hey, here it is. It's all done. The big reveal. It looks amazing, and now I just get to enjoy my Neopets even more and keep adding to it because, you know, we can't just leave it like this.
Though, you know, maybe now's the time to figure out what to do with my 20,000 Neopets TCG.